Broadcasting from the classic city, Athens, Georgia, it's the Ratio Podcast, live featuring Johnny Ray. We are coming to you live from the lab at Cine, Athens' only independent art house cinema. Tonight's show features musical sweetheart Seth Martin, a peek inside the Elephant Six documentary Athens premiere, and so much more. I'm Jack Slayton, inviting you to come with us and enjoy tonight's edition of the Ratio Podcast Live. Gentlemen, your host, Johnny Ray.
Hello, everybody. How are you doing? Welcome to the Ratio Podcast. I got my Snoop on a stoop, and just as we're introducing my beautiful co-host, Mr. Jack Slayton, Jack said, why wait till 420? Let's have a 419 party. So I know everybody's putting out their Snoops on a stoop, and this one was given, we're going to put this guy right here, and there we go. And that was given to me by my love, Melinda, who's also our stage manager tonight. Everybody give it up for Melinda. But yeah, we got a fun party for you tonight. Seth Martin's back in town. Hell right, like straight from the lake, you know. So we'll have him up here in a little bit to talk about Saturday morning cartoons, his new long player. But yeah, this is the one that my dearly departed mother would have turned off like immediately. This is our weed episode. So I'm going to be talking about marijuana a little bit, or I'm really trying to push this grass. Let's start, can we please start just calling it grass again? Is everybody in favor of that? All right, well, my name's Johnny Ray. I am a self-proclaimed stoner. I love marijuana, I love weed. And it took me till about my mid-30s when us asshole men start drinking a lot and we realize this is what life really is. That's when I realized that was my vice of choice. And let's go back a little bit before that, though. So as soon as you realize, probably about 9 or 10 for me, that eventually you're going to have to take the edge off some way. Okay, and that doesn't have to be drugs or alcohol. That can be crocheting, bird watching, or, strumming Little Robin Redbreast on a ukulele. But whatever it is, it's something that's like a vice and something that, fills your time. I like to smoke a little grass. That fills my time. But as I was growing up, at the end of cartoons on Saturday, it would invariably cut to a group of people sweating in a stadium, okay? They're just, they're out there, oh, it's hot, and the sun's beating down, and then just tracks fucking materialize out of nowhere. And here comes the silver bullet train right through. Beer, alcohol, all these things were just pushed. It was almost impossible not to be a victim of it if you grew up in the 80s or the 90s. So, I fooled around with alcohol a lot of years. I'm not drinking now. I haven't been for a little while. Thank you. And I've got a lot of friends that are the same way, but I am what I call Athens sober. So let's talk about that term a little bit. We have a special flavor for that, like we do everything else here in Athens. But Athens sober, much like California sober, is I don't drink, but I smoke weed. Okay, so Athens sober, we start with that baseline. We don't drink, but we smoke weed. We smoke enough weed to kill a horse. And maybe from time to time, we take a little mushrooms, like maybe once a month. Nothing crazy, something like that, just like once a month. So we don't drink, we smoke weed, enough weed to kill a horse, and we take mushrooms every now and then, okay? Or, we also, if you've got a friend who has some extremely pure gel tab acid sitting in the freezer or something, we might do that as well. And by the way, anybody that's tuning in right now on psychedelics, you're right, we know. And we're talking about you, and we're pointing at you. So enjoy your trip. I'm just teasing. Please settle back down, cold, damp compress, forehead like I kind of need right now. But yeah, so Athens Sober is kind of an amended thing, which we were talking about all this lately, and that brings us, it's first of all, it's insane to me that marijuana is not legal nationally, internationally. I mean, I think for some people it should be mandatory. But it's crazy to me in this day and age that that's not the situation, that it's not legal everywhere. So we polled some folks, and we came up with some stoner shit that these are some of the observations that we found while out on the town. Number one, you ask anyone who offers you any dessert, is there weed in it? I mean your grandmother, You've got to be prepared. You know the perils of this situation. So, number two, you find yourself at a stranger's wedding. A stranger's wedding. This has happened to all of us. And you're sitting there and you're thinking through the whole thing. You're like, when is this bullshit going to be over? And I can go outside and smoke some weed, And where can I do that? You start looking like, the parents look pretty cool. They're like around my age. They get high, right? Yeah. Yes. Okay, you don't waste any travel plans on anything that doesn't involve a legal state. Your parents could be doing a family reunion. You're like, I don't know, it's in Missouri. But is Missouri hell, Missouri might be legal by now. I don't have these things memorized. That's a whole different podcast. When you land in a legal state, Uber discussions always go this way. You get out at the airport, you get in the car, and the guy, you immediately try and go, hey, man, you think it'd be cool if we stopped by a dispensary on the way to the hotel? And, is that even legal? Can we do that? You're so like, oh, yeah, we'll be in and out, bam, And we always pull that off, don't we, Jack?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So, let's see here. Couple more. The number of lighters you own is bewildering and bizarre, okay? It's ever evolving. You either have 0 lighters or 9. And if you clean your couch out, it's like lighter Christmas or something. I always find like 40. And I'm like, God damn, that's where all those lighters have been. But you can never have too many. But speaking of that, and last but not least, God forbid you have friends that bring their children over. Okay, hold on. Or, God forbid you have friends that bring their children over, or you have to host a family event. That is a 2-week-long cleaning process. You're like scraping THC off the ceiling like somebody's working on the Chrysler building or something. But that's enough of that stoner shit. How you doing, Jack Slayton?
I'm doing well.
Good. We've got a lot of cool things that have been happening here at Cine Athens. I did mention, everybody give it up for Cine. We're here recording live at Cine. Right on. And recently, a group of our friends premiered the Elephant 6 documentary here at Cine Athens, which is on the festival circuit. And I highly recommend it. Everybody should go see this. It's super inspiring. It's amazing. And we were here at the premiere, and we did a little report. So here it is. Hey, everybody. Welcome to Cine here at beautiful downtown Athens, Georgia, where we have the premiere of the Elephant 6 Recording Company here tonight. And I'm telling you, the building is just full of legends. Are you having a good time at this, Jack?
Oh, yeah.
Well, a lot of cool people, a lot of just beautiful weirdos. Let's go talk to a few. Hey, everybody, we're here with Andrew Rieger of the Mighty Elf Power and a member of the Elephant 6 Collective. I just want to ask you, how special is it to have someone to be so inspired that they made a documentary on something you created?
It's amazing. I'm just glad that anybody gives a shit enough to tell our story. It's really, really, really flattering. So yeah.
Right.
I think that the movie was fantastically successful at capturing something that I don't think most people would think was you were able to capture.
Right. It feels very good. There's an Elephant Six book called Endless, and now there's a movie. It just feels good that Nutrimilk has always had a lot of momentum going for him, but that there's some light being shed on all these other projects.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a little overwhelming, and it's really, we're all kind of scattered, and to see all this found footage of just stuff we sort of piecemeal did, like put together as a complete thought is really amazing.
I'm going to see the movie tomorrow. I haven't seen it. I was down the street drinking.
Right. You gotta have priorities, man. There you go.
It's a film that like people didn't see footage of these people at the time. Like there was never a music video or an MTV appearance by Nutrimilk Hotel. There was never an Olivia Tremor Control performance on Fallon, or you know what I mean. Like there were bands that you read print interviews with that were pretty fragmented and obscure. The photographs, they had masks and things on top of themselves. So this is the first chance to really see them in their 20s being alive in 1995, making music and putting all this stuff together and kind of talking openly about how this was made.
Who was the best cook?
Probably Aaron Wagelin, who was Elf Power's drummer early on, and then he went and became a professional chef in LA after that.
That would have to be Will dated a lady named Laura Hetzler, who now goes by Lulu Hetzler.
Okay.
And at the potlucks it talks about in the movies, she would always cook some of the most mouth-watering stuff.
Laura Hetzler.
It's like the third for Laura.
Yeah.
Go Laura.
Andrew and I lived together. We used to share recipes, you know.
Okay.
Andrew's pretty good, but Aaron was the best cook, of course.
That's two people now that have said that. Of all the Elephant Six folks, who had the best weed?
Robert Schneider.
There we go. See, that was simple.
Or maybe John Fernandez is a close second.
Okay.
I don't know, probably Will.
Who had the best weed?
I'm pretty new. Like by the time I joined the band, everybody had quit smoking weed.
Okay. So, would you consider yourself more of a night owl or a morning goose?
Night Owl for sure, yeah.
Yes.
Morning Goose.
Yes!
I'm about ready to
Finally
go
a
home.
morning goose. So, yeah. Last question is, would you consider yourself more of a night owl or a morning goose?
Night goose.
A night goose. I love it. Yes.
I used to be a night owl for many years, but as I've gotten a little long in the tooth, I've become more of a morning goose than a night owl.
Oh man,
days.
a decadent night for me is if I'm in my stretchy pants by 10.
Yeah.
You know, there's already a lot of people who are younger than myself that are mining 90s material for like a touchstone or a cultural reference for what they're making.
Right.
And it feels like this is going to open up, you know, another 2 hours worth of footage and sounds and ideas and personas and motivation and all the great people who charge you up and make you want to make a song or a band or a record, like Dan Donahue, Robert Schneider, who are John Fernandez, who are in this film speaking so compellingly, I think are going to incite an explosion of new music and photography and bands.
Well, thank you so much for doing this podcast with us.
All right, take care.
And just want to say a couple of things before we get our guest out here. We also had the premiere. Jack, tell us a little bit about Jim and the Carnival premiere.
Oh yeah, James Herbert, not local, he's not from here, but he's deeply tied to this place. He premiered a video he shot for a band called the Limbo District, back in what was it, the 70s?
Yeah. Early 80s.
Early 80s, that had kind of resurfaced after many years, and we were able to premiere it here. James Herbert's been a close family friend and part of my family for a long time, and if you've never heard about him, give him a Google. Not to be confused with James Herbert, Frank Herbert's son, the author. It's a separate guy. But if you haven't gone down the rabbit hole of his film and paintings, I would highly recommend it. He's a fan of this show, and maybe someday we'll have him on.
Right on. Let's give it up for Jim Herbert, y'all. And one more thing I want to say. We want to wish from the Ratio podcast that Frank Ocean gets well. He has canceled next week at Coachella. And I bring this up because I was on Twitter that night. They didn't do the live feed, and I've never seen people lose their fucking minds over a work of art that maybe didn't go exactly as planned. And I felt like he got vehemently put down. And if you watch the songs, he was amazing. I was telling Lindsay about it the other day. Amazing. So let's all give it up for Frank Ocean. Hope he gets better. He has a ankle injury. And hey, we hope to have him here one day on the Ratio podcast. Well, let's get to tonight. Tonight we have a rapscallion that most of y'all know, and a real sweetheart, and just a super cool dude. Everybody give it up for Seth Martin. Hey, man, it's good to have you here. We're getting caught. See, stoner shit. I mean, shit.
We're getting tangled.
I've performed high before, but Jesus Christ, not this high. Okay. So, what's up, Seth?
You see it, baby.
I hear you, man. It's good to have you here. So
excited to be here.
One of the reasons, other than the fact that I love you so much, you're here promoting your new recorded product, Saturday Morning Cartoons. So tell us a little bit about that.
It's my first solo record, and so grateful for all the friendship that's gone into it, just blown away. Recorded it up in Nashville with Rob Hibbs and Vaughn Lamb and Justin Collins and Scott Collins and Jack Evan Johnson and Chelsea Lovett and just a whole bunch of, what we started to call the Fool Around Gang.
It sounds like a gang, I was about to say.
Crew of friends. That's it.
Right on. So that's right. So you're now based up in Nashville, but let's talk a little bit about when did you first come to this area? What are some of you're from? Tell us where you're from first. Sorry.
So I was born in Athens Regional, right down the street here. And actually, my older brother just had his second son in St. Mary's, and they're in the hospital right now, too.
Oh, wow. Congratulations.
His name is Boyd Ward Martin.
Oh, that's adorable.
Another Martin boy.
I love it.
I mean, yeah, I had to come to Athens to even, get a new pair of blue jeans or go to the doctor or, do anything was Athens. And we big football fans growing up. And so we come over and do that, and it's just literally in my blood. Love Athens so much.
That's so Dickensian or something, kind of. I don't know. Yeah, that's awesome. Now
I'm gonna have to look that up, Johnny.
So now, when did you start playing music? Do you come from a musical family?
No, not at all. Rob Hibbs, who's sitting out here right now, taught me my first chord in a canvas mining tent in Alaska, in Cooper Landing, Alaska.
Right on.
And that was when I was 24. And growing up, it was hunting and fishing and playing sports and going to the lake and just going out in the woods and fucking off.
Fucking off, man. I'm all for that. Well, when do you start performing with people around here? When do you meet some of these gypsy farm folk and all those cats?
So the first Dish Boys record was made on Ruth Street when we got back from Alaska. Was that 2015, I think, and made that on a borrowed 8-track, digital 8-track, and then made 2 records with Chris Byron at Nucci Space, and then made a home recording on my parents' porch in Fort Sonia. So I grew up in Elbert County, out in Fort Sonia, out by the lake.
Fort Sonia, where the fuck is that?
Dude. So it's right on the edge of the line of South Carolina and Georgia.
Okay, sorry, Fort Sonia, I love you.
And just middle of nowhere.
Right, right.
In a beautiful way. Some great folks there. My folks still live out in that area. Mimi's still there. And then a cut at Chase Park with Henry, and then cut at Gypsy Farm, and then that was the end of the Dish Boys.
Right, right. Well, what does this area mean to you? I mean, what does it represent?
Like birthing ground for so much friendship and creativity, and it's so romantic to me. Cause like we come here on dates in school, and like come here and party, like sneaking into it's like a tattoo shop now, but it's like beside a donut shop and a vape shop down on Broad down there, and it was like we'd sneak into it, and some dude from the county over from us, his brother owned it or something. He'd let us in. We were like 14 and 15, so that was like, it's just Athens means so many things to me, you know.
Well, the beginning of your, criminal career there, just breaking into. Yeah, did you? I love how you massage that. Yeah, me and some friends like went inside to a place we weren't supposed to be.
Place, but I'm sure it's long.
Right.
Converted. But musically, it means a whole lot too. I mean, going and seeing shows at Flicker Bar and Caledonia Lounge and Little Kings and Here and house shows, and just it meant the world to be able to start a band from scratch and with your friends who you met at service industry jobs or that you met at a show, and just roll that into kind of what your whole life is about.
Right.
You know, and it showed. I didn't know that yet through creativity. And that had always been there in sports with me, you know, but finding that with folks that were working jobs, that were mainly manual labor gigs, and then spending their free time that they did have on something that was bigger than them, you know. So Athens is such a place where that can happen.
Oh yeah, I totally agree. What sports did you play?
Everything.
Just
like
everything.
Football,
javelin throwing,
baseball, basketball. I played track. I still use the track stuff every day. Like I go running.
Yeah.
What the fuck? But like I still use like all that stuff. There's so much character for, at least for my experience, because that was all there was. Like I didn't have anything else, so that was what we did. And looking back on it now, I mean, I totally threw it off like around college, like when I early discovered music and getting stoned and stuff like that, you know. It was like sports ain't mean shit to me. That's a bummer. And then now that I've gotten so into creativity, I'm like, where are all these lessons about the team effort and like seeing it through the end, the work ethic, all that shit? Where'd it come from? It came from a mixture of, you know, my folks and then sports and just that camaraderie. And that's still there with like anybody I work with, you know. But it showed itself that way for me, and it does it differently for everybody. And it's just cool that we're in a place where that can all blend. And Athens will always hold a special place for me for so many reasons.
Right, man. Right on. Well, you're up in the big city of Nashville now. How's that going? Did you like walk into town with a 10-gallon hat and just, you know?
I've had friends up there for a long time, like Justin and Jack, and we go and see them like and play shows with them like 3 or 4 times a year for the last 5 or 6 years. And we had a tour booked, and it was like 48 shows across the country, and pandemic squashed that. So it was like all these songs that we were going to play on the road, let's cut them when we can all get together. And that's what the record became. And then I was living out in Oglethorpe County and working as a caretaker, just cutting down trees and painting chairs and, you know, caring for the animals and stuff, the dog and the cat. Hard work. And Rick Post, who managed Georgia Theater, told me, he was like, man, you need to get up here. And about that time, Justin and them had been pushing me on it too, and I would always have certain things line up, and just everything kind of fell together in like one day, really. And so I'm just so grateful and lucky. And my friends who were there, just the whole community welcomed me in such a beautiful way.
It sounds like a dream come true. Come on up to Nashville, cut a record, that's so badass.
And to do it with the people I did it with, like Kyle Walsh on drums, like I've said forever, just in like sitting around talking, and like, man, my two favorite drummers ever are Sweet Dog and Kyle Walsh. Sweet Dog from the Dexteens, Kyle Walsh from Justin and the Cosmics. And I've played with Kyle Walsh now. Like, we did that Saturday night and the record.
Right on, man.
So fortunate.
Well, what's it like up there? Do you like get down? I mean, what do? Do you just go out to the shows, or you just go out and wave at people? What do you do?
I go to the park in the morning and do my run and all that shit. Shelby Bottoms, it's a 900-acre wetland preserve. I go out there, and then I work. Go to a show.
Put on your Spurs and then go down to Music Row.
With the Fool Around gang, my buddies, man.
Right on,
man. Justin and Jack are so inspiring to me. Like, two dudes that just believe, man. They believe. And the same that we were talking about earlier with you and Jack and y'all's whole crew, that, like, there's this thing of, like, adult creativity being a passion and a focus throughout life, that when you see it with people, it's beautiful. And there's certain folks in this room right now that have it, and I can see it in their eye, and that is all that matters. That's we are a vessel for creativity.
You gonna make us all cry, Seth.
I don't make myself cry, baby. Well, to see that as something that folks want to do is just so inspiring, and that's something I think about or try to think about often.
Right. Well, right on, man. Well, let's turn to a little bit of a more serious subject. We'll talk about movies in a little bit. About
Cassavetes.
But how are things in Tennessee right now? How are people healing after these unprecedented tragedies?
I think folks are really using it as a rallying point to be like, these are our ideals, and this is what we stand behind, and this is where we want to go with it, because it's really started a movement locally. Like, to see the amount of people that went to just the hearings packed, couldn't get one person in, one person out for hours and hours, and to see all the folks at the march. And it's going to happen every week, like every Monday, until some shit changes.
Right on.
And these cats, man, Justin Jones, he was like, been at this for a while. And he was arrested for peacefully demonstrating like several times before he was in office. And to hear him and Representative Pearson speak, it is like nothing I've ever seen, or just the emotion that they can transfer and the ideas they're talking about it's a movement, and,
right?
And it's getting attention internationally and nationally in a big way.
Right on, man.
And just being around that, and just for me, it's just showing up and just being there and being witness to it. Because, like, I'm fresh into town, and just being around and looking and seeing what it means to that community is kind of my role there.
Right. Well, I'm glad that you're up there. I think you're a good person to be there, and let's say hello to everybody in Tennessee. There's wonderful people up there, that are doing great things, and but you're going to play a little bit of music. But I got, before we get with that, me and you've had some good times.
Damn right.
God
Almighty.
I remember a July 4th where I, drove you home. And
has anybody seen the movie Training Day?
We were doing like 16 miles an hour. Let me just tell you.
It was like that. I mean, so I'd gone to see a show, Hibbs Family Band. They played. It was a great show. Get done, end of the night. Me and Johnny hanging out. Like, you should finish that one by yourself. Just lit it up, handed it to me. You should finish that one. So I do that, and then like 20 minutes later, I can't see straight, and I can't drive. I can't walk. Johnny like essentially carries me to his car. We get in the car and going home, and he's laughing his fucking head off at me. And
I'm not laughing that hard. Come on.
I got my head out the window. And I'm like, oh man, save me. And I remember, I think I threw up out the window a couple times. You know, just full honesty. And that was
it's a real bonding moment. You know, yeah.
I have never, I've never had anything like that happen before. And I told him after, I said, Johnny, I can smoke a pickup truck full of weed and be straight. And I have never smoked one joint and been training day mode.
Wow.
And I was the kid in training day.
Well, yeah.
It was so much fun.
This is all heresy to begin with. But, yeah. But, yeah, man, I'm so glad you came down. You going to play some music for us?
Absolutely, baby.
All righty. Everybody, Seth Martin.
Thank you. Thanks to everybody at Cine and the Ratio Podcast and Johnny. That's so damn fun. Play one here called Beautiful Sin. Thank you. Here's one called Dance Around the Room. Dance around the room, it's a quarter to noon. We're both as high as a birthday balloon. Thank you. Now this one here, Johnny, you might know this guy. I wrote this song. I learned it from a guy up in Alaska, and he said he learned it from somebody in Louisiana, and they said that they, when they really got down to it, that they had learned it from me.
Well, I turned a quarter and a quarter to three, and I saw you looking at me, and I thought, woo! Squint up my shoulder, and I walked right over and tried not to show when I would appear. You say, quit you doing all that woo-hoo, and you better get back from where you come, Jack. So I taught and turned and learned that lesson. I don't wanna do no more messing with you. So I taught and turned and learned that lesson. I don't wanna do no more messing with you. Yeah, I love the city and I love the lights. I love to stay up all night, but good country living just something I gotta do. Have you ever seen the dew on a pasture green when the sun comes up in early spring? Have you ever been down to the Okefenokee? When I think about it now, my eyes get smoky. Headed next time I go, I'm bringing you along. Now there's a hell of a lie that's been done wrong, and I ain't trying to cover it up with this song. If we don't do something soon, it's gonna be gone. But I know some folks who are willing to fight, and you need to see what they see in the sky when they look up and they see them stars at night.
How about that, yo?
Thank you, Johnny.
Seth Martin. Thanks, man. Everybody, so make sure you go follow Seth on the Instagram. Come down here, man. That was amazing. So, Nate, where's the best place to get this record?
It is on the Bandcamp, it's on the Spotify, it's on the YouTube, it's on the Apple Music, on every one of them, baby.
There we go, man. Well, thanks so much for doing this. Everybody, give it up for Seth Martin. And thanks everybody for coming out tonight. We're going to take a couple of months off of the live show, but the podcast regular will be coming back, and we'll be back in July with a very, very special guest. So I want to say happy birthday to my dog, Charlie. Woo! And also, I would like to tell everybody to enjoy the rest of 419, 420, smoke all the weed, be safe, and we'll see you soon.
See you soon. The Ratio Podcast Live is produced and directed by Eric George, executive producers Nick Gould and Johnny Ray. You can find the Ratio Podcast details at ratiopodcast.com. For more information about Cine and the lab space, please visit athenscine.com. This is Jack Slayton saying good night and don't do anything dramatic.